Hi, this is Brandon Spillane from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about an exercise called the Bulgarian split squat. Some people also call this a rear foot elevated split squat. Either one is fine. I've always known it as a Bulgarian split squat, so that's what I'm going to call it. But this is a split squat progression that you can use once you've mastered a regular split squat or a reverse lunge. I will say that for me personally, from a programming standpoint, I like to see the athletes have good hip flexor mobility before I throw them into this exercise, because if they don't, we tend to see a lot of cheating and opening up on the back hip that's elevated, and then we start to put that in a bit of a compromised position. It starts to pull on the spine, and then people start to feel their low back start to get tight because it's cranking on that hip flexor. So just take that with caution when you're doing this or performing this exercise of where your pelvis position is in space, especially if you're a coach. Watch your athletes do this. If you're just merely doing this exercise yourself, all you need to think about for this exercise is you want your pelvis pointing straight forward. Okay, you don't want one hip winging out towards the other if you were to think of your hips being straight forward like this. Okay, so think about that the whole time while I'm doing this exercise. Find something to raise your back foot on. It can be a box like what we have here at the gym. They make certain pads for it at some gyms. You can do it on a couch or a chair or your bed. Anything like that is a great option to be able to do this exercise anywhere, anytime. If you have any kind of weight, you can hold them by your side. You can hold them in the goblet position, offset, front rack. The loading options are essentially limited, but the core values of the exercise and key coaching points remain the same. So we're going to take one foot here. We're going to raise it, put it on the box. You can have your toe up, or you can have your toe down. That's personal preference. There's really no major difference in the exercise, okay? So do what's comfortable for you and what you have access to. I personally prefer to have my toe down, okay? I'm going to bring my other foot, okay, the foot that's going to do the work, okay? I'm going to prefer to bring it to a position that I have enough space to be able to go back and down, okay? So remember that as well. Foot elevated, back foot here is the one that's going to be doing the working. How you're loading is entirely up to you. You're going to sit your hip back towards the box, chest good and tall, down, push through the front leg here. Try to keep this relatively perpendicular to the floor. A little bit of drift forward is okay. Just understand you have a little more quad activation. I like to see people rock back a little bit more. And here's where we're talking about the hip flexor mobility. Notice that I'm basically in a hip flexor or couch stretch position. Great exercise. Great mobility exercise. This is something I would program for somebody that has a hard issue getting in this position, but notice the similarity of the hip flexor mobility that's required to get here and the Bulgarian split squat itself. I think that's a paramount point to this exercise from a mobility standpoint. So again, I'm up here, rock back, tall, rock back, tall. This box is relatively low for me, okay? Notice I can get my knee to the ground. I would probably actually need a box that's probably about that tall to be able to prevent that from happening. That would be a good height for me, okay? And then from a front view here, what you're going to see is leg forward, back, chest tall, whatever you're loading, down, back, down, back. What I was talking about. Notice how this is still straight. I'm not like this. That's what you'll tend to see with people with bad hip mobility, is they're going to do this kind of thing. Okay, forward, tall, ribs down, load, push, looks good. All right. I would generally perform this for 3 to 4 sets per leg, 6 to 10 repetitions per leg, depending upon the goal of the athlete. If this is a body weight exercise from doing at home, just do as many reps as you possibly can on each leg, alternating back and forth, and then you can superset it with anything else that you want to, or apply it as part of a circuit. Again, the loading patterns are completely optional of how you want to load it. We'll probably make a separate video on just talking about loading in general by itself, but just know that how you want to load it is personal preference. We're just talking about the Bulgarian split squat itself. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.